Welcome to Grade Pending. This is our new segment on the 2021 Vision, where we're going to be doing some movie reviews, maybe some music reviews, some video games, cartoons, whatever we feel like reviewing, because that's just how I roll. We're going to start the first episode off with WandaVision because it just finished. 9 episodes, 8 weeks, the first Marvel TV show series on Disney Plus. And we're going to get how everybody feels about it. As always, I want y'all to like, subscribe, share, comment, do all that good stuff. Share your thoughts. Give us your review on it as well. Here on Grade Pending, we're also going to have a unique grading system. Some people in the New York area may recognize it from restaurants and things and stores, but we got, awesome, which is the top of the top, the cream of the crop, the best of the best. We got dope, which is very good, not perfect, not the bestest, but hey, it's a good show, good piece of entertainment. We got meh, which basically is all right, or watched it once, not trying to watch it no more. And then we got straight trash. I'm never watching it again. It was hot garbage. Get this out my face. Why did I spend money on this? However you feel about it. All right. So what we're gonna do it on this show. Basically, I'm gonna get everybody one by one. They're gonna give their perspective on it real quick, give a little quick review, and they're gonna give their grade on it. And then we'll have a little group discussion at the end of it. All right. So Michelle, since you are the resident witch, I said witch for everybody listening and watching. I said witch with a W. Got a lot of ladies. So
actually, is it because of my sign in the back? Is that where you're going with that?
No, it's because I know you.
Oh, you're putting me on blast. Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna have you go first. Like I said, give us your likes, give us your dislikes, and then give us your grades.
So, like I said before, I think the show was awesome, dope, and I'm gonna add my as fuck at the end of that. So, no, the show overall was great. I loved it. There's nothing that I could say I disliked about it. But again, it's coming from the fact that I am a fan of her storyline. I am a fan of her origins and stuff. It was very well written. It definitely kept myself, and I would say the audience intrigued. Um, it was one of those things where, like I said, Disney blew it out the box. They knew they had very good screenwriters. They stuck to the comics. I think with me, it was the fact that I was able to call out characters such as Agatha and Sparky, and how everything, it was one of those things. But again, someone like myself who knows the comics, able to speak on it, and they were able to bring it to life. I did feel like they did stick a lot to the House of M comic book. So to me, hands down, golf clap. They did a fucking amazing job with this. So to me, they get top of the line, 8%, awesome, 100. Chef kiss. It kind of kept me wondering, because Agatha in the comic books is not really like that villain. To make her like that, the Thanos of the show, to me, in my opinion, was one of those days I was just like, nah, man, where the fuck is Mephisto? Where the fuck is fucking Nightmare? To me, that's where I was kind of getting aggravated, because I felt that they were gonna try to introduce those characters versus making Agatha the villain of the show. I would say I would again, it was not, I can't even say it was a dislike. It was just the frustration, but whatever. But overall, like I said, the show was very well written. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I fucking look forward to every Friday to watch it. And I could honestly say I loved it to the max.
I'm gonna have to agree with Michelle. It was definitely awesome. I liked it. Um, Being a Marvel head, I'm not gonna lie. I remember when I watched Age of Ultron, and I was like, "Oh man, they're really not gonna go and do character development on the twins, on Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch." But this was perfect. Just watching the show, and they really built her up. That was a great move. I thought the show was gonna be. I had my reservation in the beginning, but it did way more better than I expected. You know, even down to introducing different characters, especially, you know, Captain Rambo. That was a great mix. I loved it. I don't really know too much about Captain Rambo, even in the comics, but you know what? Once they introduced her, I started figuring it out, and that was just a great move on their part because I see the more characters they introduce to the TV show, the more the Marvel universe is just expanding, and I love it. I even love the fact that they even brought the two Scarlet Witch's two kids, and I know about them because they become young Avengers. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did think that they were gonna use Mephisto in that because I know the kids came from Mephisto's energy, and honestly, I didn't know where it was gonna go between Agatha, Mephisto, and any other villain. But I did. I love the show. Surprisingly enough, I have no complaints about it. I even like how they added the White Vision to be another mix in the pot. I'm like, okay, I see you guys. Y'all really not pulling out stops right here. And I can't really say any dislikes. Even with the villains, I can't say I disliked anybody that they used because they seemed what they know what they were doing. I didn't want to put any more theories like everybody else because honestly, I just wanted to sit back, relax, and see what they had to show me. And I had no complaints about it. So, all in all, they did a great job.
I mean, I watched every episode at least twice. I can't say that I really have any gripes with the show at all. I think it was a well written, well filmed Marvel production. Um, it from episode 1 all the way to episode 9. I think each episode carried itself well and strong. It was a great way to give story to Wanda and also to Photon or Spectrum, however they're going to go into that direction. But it was great to add character development for both characters. One we knew about, one coming up in future projects. Especially with that last, especially with the last episode, seeing how her powers develop and the inclusion of the scrolls and Nick Fury possibly and so forth. So I think it was, I think everything about the show was just awesome, but it gave great insight to how Wanda feels. And it's something that Marvel did with Thor, allowing Thor to grieve during Ragnarok. This is Wanda's grieving point, and showing what life is for her after, because everybody saw, after Endgame, the death of Tony and how everybody felt about that. And everybody, it kind of just going about your own after that. Steve retires, so forth. But this is, you giving a B-list character or C-list character, an A-list, like an A-list, shine. And it makes, and Marvel does a great job making you care about, other characters outside of the popular five. And it gives, like I said, it just sets up dominoes for other projects. Of course, it makes that project being as great as it was, is going to make it really hard for other projects to. I don't want to say you want to tie in, or you don't want to compare other projects against this, such as a Loki or Falcon, Winter Soldier, because everything's going to be individually different. But this was an A throughout the production. It does set a high standard now for other Marvel Studio TV shows. And I just look forward to see what goes on afterwards. After this one.
Definitely gets awesome for me all around. Just the building, every episode built on top of the previous episode. And it kept us guessing. We didn't know if it was Mephisto, if it was Agatha, if it was someone else, if it was Hayward behind it. It kept us guessing, and that's great to see Marvel build on just something so simple as losing someone and how it affected her to that degree. I would say my only dislike is that there wasn't enough of it. I honestly think like the quick 30 minutes we got just left me wanting more. And by the time we got to like the 9th episode, when it was about 45 minutes long, minus the end credits and things like that, I would love for something a little longer. A full hour, a full TV hour. When we get that 45 minutes, pending commercials and stuff like that. But it's Disney Plus, we won't get that. That's my only gripe with it, is that we didn't get the length behind it. Like, I can't remember how many times I yelled at the TV, like, no, like, you're leaving me like that. That was the toughest part to adjust to, but all around, I think it gets an awesome for me, a straight 10-10. Marvel did a great job. When I first heard the concept about WandaVision, I was sort of on the fence, like, TV sitcom-ish, Marvel, like, y'all going out on a limb, you don't have any support, no, nothing to go off of this. Like, all right, how are they going to get to this place? Why are they in this place? And hats off to Marvel and the writers, man, because they just blew it out the park. I didn't think I would love a show like this, and I've watched it 2 or 3 times, every episode. And each time I watch it, I learn something new. Like, I pick up another piece. I feel like that Leo meme. I'm like, that right there. But yeah, all around it's a 10 for me. I'm looking forward to see what they do in the future, and this is a great starting block for them.
I loved it. I also feel it was awesome. Small nitpicks about it. I wouldn't even say dislikes, but the pacing of it in the early episodes was pretty fast paced. They crammed a lot into those little 20-minute episodes. I didn't mind the length of it. It's just you had to watch it a couple of times to really get what you was watching and what you saw. But it was an emotional journey. They gave us more backstory on Wanda. They gave us the origin of Monica, who she'll become, either Spectrum, Captain Marvel, or wherever they go with it. And it was a lot. It was a lot crammed into it, but more so, it was Wanda's story. It was an emotional journey of her going through grief, depression, love, sadness, all kinds of, and going into it, I didn't think I would be so attached to the show itself or even the characters, and they found a way to make an emotional connection to, like you guys said, B/C level type character as far as like the movies and things go, or cartoons, and we never really got much of a Wanda type of star shine. So this was her moment to shine. She did, like I said, I think it was well written. It kept the people guessing. The biggest thing I loved about it was aware of the fans, all the questions we had in the first 3 episodes. Then they gave us outside the hex, and they were asking the same questions, as if we know what y'all gonna be, looking at and pinpointing. We want y'all to keep focusing on that. And they did a lot of misdirection. So all in all, the show was about magic, and they pulled magic tricks on there within the show. So the writers did an excellent job of pulling it off. And like I said, it was awesome. Can't wait for whatever comes next. So now we have our group discussion. So basically, Finney, Michelle, you guys are more comic book heads than me, Lou, and Jared are. We've all read some, but you guys. You well, yeah, as far as when it comes to Scarlet Witch and stuff, I don't care about her. I care about Wolverine. Like, I care about my comic that I related to most. I am aware of other comics and stories, but yeah, nobody really cared about Scarlet Witch, until now.
Until he's right. No, he's right. He's right.
So one of the biggest gripes that people had was their expectations. Not even gripes. It was people had a lot of expectations, and like I told Fanny,
I'm not gonna lie though. Again, if we know the comics or those who know the comics,
Paul was almost there. He almost had his thought. Like, yo, that's right. Nope, I didn't even.
That's why I had to put the mute button on.
Oh, you gonna mute me? You gonna mute me?
As I was,
interrupt me one more
go ahead,
time.
Finish your thought, Michelle. Go ahead. Finish your thought, Michelle.
Paul.
Yes.
Go.
No, finish your thought, Michelle. Go ahead. Go.
No, you go first.
You've already go. I've stopped. Go.
Okay.
Go.
Sorry. So again, when I was watching the show, because I know the comics when it comes to her, her famous line in the comic books was like when she said no more mutants. I was like, yo, if they fucking hit this shit, in this show. Like I'm gonna fucking die watching this shit. But like I said, and I agree with you. Like
that was one of my biggest things because so many people said, "Oh, she's gonna say that and she's gonna bring the mutants." I'm like, that would be stupid for her to say, "Bring us mutants." That would make no sense.
so I agree with you.
telling me
Somebody
say that
said that to me. They're like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if she like said bring back?" And I'm like, "No,
That would make no sense
that's
whatsoever.
not like that's not." I agree. Thank you, Paul. So I'm glad that you agree with me.
I'm extremely confused at that point right there.
Yeah,
That had
because she said
that was
no
not
more
even that.
mutants, she
If
would
you
say
had even watched the show, that wouldn't even make any type of sense.
You know
none
what
at
it
all.
is though, because I have friends who are X-Men fans,
hmm
so they
So
feel that that Scarlet Witch, obviously.
there we go. Like I don't get it. I'm an X-Men fan, and I'm gonna tell you that wouldn't have made sense in the plot.
No,
Like,
it wouldn't. No, dude, we're on the same page. We agreed on this. So my thing is that my friends who are the X-Men fans, or even like someone like my sister's who she's a huge X-Men fan. She's like, oh, and that's like, no, that doesn't make sense because again, my concern is how they're gonna intertwine the Fox X-Men or like literally my thing is that how are they gonna bring the mutants into the Marvel universe now
That's
that
the biggest
Disney
problem
owns them.
right there because you're looking for that. Don't worry about it.
No,
Don't worry about it. Just
no.
watch the show because that was one of the biggest. That was one of the reasons why a lot of people are disappointed with this show because we know
really?
that the X-Men are coming. We know Fantastic Four is coming.
Yo,
Every time
Paul,
there's a little hint or possibility, Reed Richards is coming. Magneto's coming. Just stop.
All right, you know
Act
what?
like you don't know they're coming.
I'm gonna agree with Paul on that because unfortunately, like there were 2 episodes that I would say I think I know what he's talking about. So when they had brought the fake Pietro,
Right.
all the media blew up about, oh, they're gonna introduce the mutants. Okay, I didn't say nothing. And I think another one was when Captain Rambo was like, oh, I'm gonna go meet somebody, blah blah blah. They're gonna get me back into the Hex. Social media went off again. They're gonna bring in Reed Richards. I'm like, but how will that work? I understand people really want these characters.
Of course.
Look, I like the Fantastic Four, but not right now. They have a lot of damage control. The X-Men, the one thing I know about the X-Men is that I'm telling you right now, the X-Men defy time, space. Even in the comics, somebody dies, they come back all the time. Even in the comics, the X-Men always do something to defy time and space and all logic. It's always in the X-Men. Somebody dies, somebody comes back. Alternate universe, different Jean Greys, different Wolverines, different Cyclopses. For God's sakes, they gave you the old man Cable, and now, right now, as we speak, they have Cable being young in his 20s. Barely any explanation because the X-Men can get away with that.
But even thinking about the MCU, I knew that Pietro couldn't really be real. Well, at least I suspected he couldn't be real because if you bring him over, now you're making that X-Men universe like canon. It has to stick to whatever happened over there.
You talking about her brother in the storyline or the fake Pietro?
Yeah, the fake Pietro. Like if you bring him as Pietro from Fox Universe, now we go on first class and all that is canon. I think Feige gonna start from scratch. I think Kevin Feige gonna start from scratch, clean slate. That's why I'm not even. He said 2 years ago they coming in 5 years or at least 5 years. I'm not looking for them. They come in when they come. They gave us, and I was like, and even the possibility, I was like, if it is Pietro, he got to do the slow-mo, sweet dream scene, and if he don't do that,
right.
But I didn't.
Watching that show, I did not think at one time she was gonna say no more mutants or bring back mutants. That didn't even cross my mind. Even being a fan of the X-Men, that just because she had one famous line in the comics doesn't mean that was going to fit in the script.
Right.
Exactly.
The House of M wasn't even a thought process, even in this show. It had nothing to do.
No, they took a lot of
references
to them, though.
A lot of references were made to the House of M.
They used a lot. Like I said, they teased a lot of things and they dropped a lot of Easter eggs that weren't even relevant to the story. They were just like hints of it. Like I think they said the wine bottle, it was in French, like translated to House of M or House of something.
Yeah, that I did see.
But that was just a little nod. And like I said, I enjoyed the fake Pietro because it was like it was like a slap to all of the fans that would, oh yeah, they're coming. It was like, we throw that in there.
I love how they
think it
gave you
was
the old
okay,
Quicksilver,
honestly,
the very old school Quicksilver. Even the way he was dressed, like when he was for Halloween with his you know, the nephews or whatever.
Mhm.
yeah.
I loved it because all they did was give you the Quicksilver from the Golden Age. You know,
Yeah.
all in
Yep.
blue,
It was just a nod,
crazy
quick
silver
Easter egg.
hair.
Yeah, it was
Take
paying
that all
homage.
in.
It was just paying homage to it.
That's all it is.
I feel that anybody who is I feel like anybody who is more of a mutant X-Men fan was really like holding on to that little ray of hope of bringing the mutants into this new world. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like, well, no, because if I'm correct, you know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I should say, like, isn't Wanda technically the bad guy in Doctor Strange in the new movie coming up?
Well, they haven't confirmed
They're
it.
hinting that
I
way,
guess that when they announced it, I had said that back 2 years ago, whenever they announced it. It's not confirmed. I mean, based on how this show ended, it looks like it. But they just said she's in it. They didn't say what she's going to be doing, so we didn't know. They just announced she's going to be in
Didn't
it.
they mention that Nightmare was going to be in it? Supposedly,
Right,
he was
exactly.
the bad guy.
Rumor.
It's
They
all
didn't.
rumors.
Yeah, that was a rumor.
That was all rumors, and that's honestly, that's one of the greatest things about this show is the fact that so many people believe so many different rumors and got so many expectations, which let everybody just feel like shit after that and be mad at the world. Like, just let a great show be a great show.
No,
Like,
the
don't
show was
let-
fucking
like, don't- like,
phenomenal.
don't
But
let-
even
Listen to the
myself,
quote.
'cause
The quote that Vision said during the Magic Act, when he says something about magic is like, you know, you silly humans are gonna watch this and be amazed. They did that with the show. Like, they did magic tricks within the show by doing little teases and things, and it was sleight of hand. Like, it was brilliantly done. It was well written, and it played out like brilliantly.
it was very well written. It was
Yeah.
extremely well written. Because even like in the sense where one thing where I started thinking that the rabbit, right, that Agatha had, I was like, yo, I was like
Yeah,
literally
you
like
told me
trying
that.
to, huh?
You told me, you told me about her son.
I thought it was her son, you know, Nicholas Scratch. And I was just like, okay. I was like, if they're bringing other, again, like I said, B-rated characters, I'm like literally diving in. And then I remember when I was telling, you know, I was telling someone in particular, they're like, Agatha has a son. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, in the comics. And I was like, wait, hold up. I was like, let me rewind. So it's one of those things I had to really like tell them, like, yeah, the storyline is not just certain things because, you know, Agatha has a son in the comic books. Again, Mephisto, her twins are Mephisto's arms. Like, you know, so it's one of those things where it's like everything I was diving more into the comics, trying to put it together. And like I said, I did put my guns in the sense of like, all right, they're either going to introduce Mephisto or Nightmare. And they have to, like, that was my thing. And again, but the way how they portrayed Agatha, like, hands down, like chef kisses all around. They fucking did a phenomenal job with her. And it was one of those things that
remixed her theme song already on social media. Like, apparently that her song, her little theme song in the show, they already remixed on social media, and apparently
I cannot. But my thing is that, like, even with that, by episode 3, I figured out who she was. And it's just one of those things that I was just like, holy shit. Like, again, like, I definitely enjoyed because, like I said, they definitely did take some stuff from, you know, House of M and all these other things. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, I can't say nothing bad about the show. The show was just very enjoyable throughout. Granted, like, the 10 minutes of credits probably annoyed me, but whatever.
Yeah,
but
I gotta agree with Lou on that too, man. Like, those 20 minutes, and then you got 32. If the show is 20 minutes long and then you got an extra 15 minutes of credits, I'm like, yo, listen, don't do that. That hurts my heart. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who doesn't want a full hour of watching Marvel's new TV show.
I don't care. But in its entirety, it was like 4 hours. Stop complaining.
Yeah, that was also that people were mentioning too. Like, all in all, it would come out to 4 hours, which is still a good take.
That's what I'm saying. I'm good.
Breaking down 4 hours into 9 episodes. That's so.
That was part of, because every episode left you wanting more. And that was brilliant. Like,
absolutely,
the fact that
they were like some cliffhangers. Every episode was a fucking cliffhanger.
Yeah, and it was perfect. They did that, and it was part of Wanda saying that when she used to watch the TV shows, every episode ended and then it started happily new again. That was part of her subconscious and stuff. Like, yeah, start the show again.
I'm not gonna
brand new
lie.
decade.
I love how she can literally play different versions of different decades of
She
these
did a great job
characters.
acting. Acting
They
wise,
She
Yeah,
did
exactly. They
phenomenal.
were already mentioning that how in not in social media specifically, but I forgot who mentioned it on social media that they mentioned that part about
Mhm.
her taking every different character from different
Mhm.
decades, and she just hit it on the mark, and that's
Yeah.
a
She did.
great thing to do for that woman. Like she's literally not. I'm not even talking about one. I'm just talking about Elizabeth Olsen as an
Mhm.
individual,
As
as
an
an
actress.
actress.
Mhm.
She did a great job, and let me tell you something. She went from being the Scarlet Witch to now she about to be like a Tony Stark in the game or Robert Downey Jr. if they
Yep.
keep doing this with her.
And Paul
Yep.
Bettany too. He did a great
Yeah.
job.
He
Oh my.
was
His
amazing.
Yo,
comedy, him
Oh
playing
my
drunk,
God.
he killed
Oh
it.
yeah, with the gum.
When he was intoxicated, he was funny. He did the funny role. He played like the the
The
scared part.
serious role.
He was aggressive when he was confused about what was going on. Like they did a great job. Them two playing off of each other, like acting wise, it was great. It was
Yeah,
great.
they were great. They were a great couple, and
Yeah,
to
the
be
chemistry
honest,
was off the chains between
Mhm.
those two. I had great
That's-
on-screen chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
like that scene where they were about to wrap up the episode, and he was like, "No, we're not doing this."
When the credits was rolling,
Like that was great. That was great TV drama. Like that was great acting right there.
Mhm.
Like to show that no, we're not going to just have this happy moment to end, and and then we're just going to
oh yeah,
wrap
yeah,
up and
yeah,
see
yeah,
you
yeah.
next next.
I remember that
Like
one.
that was a great moment, in that
Yo,
show.
that ass. I was like, press that bitch. Press that bitch to tell you the truth.
I'm not gonna lie. For a second, when I saw it, I'm like, wait, it's in the middle of the thing. Y'all gonna cut it off right now? Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on. This gonna be a huge
Mhm.
cut scene credit. But then when he flips out and they both are flying in midair, I'm like, oh, he mad.
He
He
mad.
mad. I love
but
it.
but what makes this even what makes it better is the fact that this is all spawned from Wanda and her magic. It's all
Mhm.
within her. It's all within her because this
Mhm.
whole world and Vision itself is created with her. This is not Vision, like how White Vision came out. Then this is really his own self. This is Vision from her mind,
Mhm.
and she's conflicting with herself,
Mhm.
and having all these things. So like this actually makes it one great monologue because outside of Agatha, who is her own character, and Maria, who is her own character, you know, everybody else is kind of locked into this world and so forth. Like this, everything else is all within her mind, how her kids react
Mhm.
and so forth. Like the cast that chose her or she chose, like that. It was just great drama. How everything unfolded within Wanda's own creation.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, I
I
think
love
it was,
the.
I
it was
mean, we
great.
definitely got a series where Wanda was the hero and the villain,
Yes.
and we were still
All
rooting
in
for
one.
her.
But
And
now,
we
if you
were
think
still
about
rooting
it,
for her.
she's now in that best villain conversation because
Right.
every villain or antagonist that we've had in the movies are the ones that we understand. We get their reasoning. So
Right.
Killmonger,
Loki's.
Thanos, Loki, she's in that conversation now because we've really got a full story understanding now. One, the horror she put the town of Westview in through, what I'm saying, unintentionally, but now going forward, for those that don't know and didn't see, she's reading the Darkhold, you know what I mean?
Right.
So she's gonna learn the dark magic, you know what I'm saying? So she's learning dark magic over, traditional magic like Strange or whatever. So she's gonna start focusing on the dark magic only. So it's looking like she will become the villain of
Multiverse of Madness. Yeah.
yeah. But we get it because we also hit a kid. So now we're like, okay, again, she's gonna be the bad guy, but she's doing it for her kids.
Right, with purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
why
As
that
a mother,
Mhm.
all right, she could be the bad guy if she wants to, all right? She's
See?
trying to protect the kids.
But now we know
No.
what you would do if you had that power.
Oh, you damn right.
See?
It's
But
my fucking
they
kid.
also explained that too, like, Captain Rambo, she was like, listen, if I was you, I would be
Yes.
doing the same thing.
Right, it
Right.
humanized her. Like it really humanized her.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
It did, and I love that. They definitely did, 100%. You know.
The one thing I told Paul, I remember when we had this conversation a while back, I I told him and Jared why Thanos had became my favorite villain. Because to understand this man being a father and then being a mad titan on both movies, I literally told both of these guys, yo, when I walked out of Infinity War, I understood why he snapped his fingers. And I
Right.
would have done the same thing.
Right.
I would have done the same thing. Marvel makes you understand these characters, and I love their
They
misdirection
make
the
you
show.
understand them on a different level.
It
Right.
humanizes them. That's
Yeah, they
that's the
humanize
reason
them.
why I always
They will-
gravitated towards Marvel over DC, because DC are gods. They're godlike.
It's chaos. It's chaos. Like
Wait,
it's
wait, 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 wait.
Let me finish my thought first, Michelle.
Finish your side. Don't start with DC,
The
all right?
Marvel characters are human emotions. They're dealing with real type feelings and things you can relate to. Even though Wanda has the ability to hex
Right.
the whole town, but you get what she's going through. When
Right.
you're dealing with DC characters, they're godlike. Like Darkseid and all that. He's just
Speaking
coming to
about
wreck
the
shit.
godlike characters,
there's no
because there's
emotional.
characters in DC that are not like godlike.
Batman.
No, I understand what he's trying to say.
He's the only human.
DC,
He's the
no,
only
but
human that's really any emotion. His
makes
parasite.
stepping characters look like God.
There's
They
no
do.
other emotion in DC characters.
like DC never developed the characters enough to understand their madness. Like the Joker
Yeah.
was mad. We appreciated it, but we
Yeah.
never really fully understood it because we don't know him.
Okay. I know this is always going to be a battle. Listen,
It's
Marvel
not. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You're
It's
taking
not.
it personal.
I'm not knocking it, but you got to
Listen.
appreciate Marvel.
Yo,
to create
she's
the
about to
Yes.
get ready to
I
shoot
do.
both
That's
of
what I'm
y'all.
saying. Marvel,
She could
hands
unmute both of
down.
y'all right now.
No, Marvel hands down will always have the better movies, but
So
DC.
you would no, but we're not talking about the movie. I'm talking about even
No,
the
it's not about
characters.
movies.
You know
It's
what I'm
talking
saying?
about
Like,
better character
bringing the
development.
comics to
Characters
life,
themselves.
bringing the comics to life, bringing literally from the books to movies or
Even in the
animation.
books, Michelle. Even in the books, we're talking about gods versus humans. They're gods.
DC
Yeah,
will
most
always
of
be
them
looked
are.
at as gods, though.
Huh?
Nah, DC's right though.
Like
They're
I look at
gods.
it this way: I can go watch a 2-hour movie about Thanos, about Loki, about Scarlet Witch. I don't think there's not that many DC villains that be like, you know what? I can watch a 2-hour video, a movie of him, and seeing his perspective.
I just
And to
feel
lose-
that
to lose-
Marvel
to
has
lose-
a better
They even did a
platform.
better character development on Loki, where they made you understand why he was even an asshole.
I put it this way: you take Killmonger from Black Panther, and people will go watch that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yo, Michael B. Jordan even said, "Yo, if they can bring me back alive, I'll play him again."
And people are all for it. And people are all
He
for
had-
it. They want it.
He had the best quote that year.
Yes, you bring Ghost from Ant-Man 2, people will go watch that movie to see how she got her start.
Yeah.
That's just better character development on the villain side. Like you can't be mad at that.
I'm not though. I'm
But what Paul
I'm
is saying,
not gonna try to battle this battle because I am
No, it's not an
outnumbered.
attack.
It's not a
an
battle. though.
attack.
I'm
It's
just
not an
saying,
attack.
it's not a
Michelle,
bad thing.
basically-
I'm talking about movies aside. The
I mean,
comics
like-
themselves it's more godlike. You really don't
Right.
when you read the DC comics, it's an it's still a fantasy enjoyment. Don't get me wrong.
But the avenue they took to get there.
Yeah,
Right.
it's different type. When you look at Spider-Man's success and stuff, it's because Peter Parker, as we were teenagers, we related to Peter Parker.
Right. I put it this way.
Relate to that.
DC
can't
developed
relate
the characters on a highway where you gotta go, oh, that was this guy, that was this guy.
Yeah.
Marvel takes the street where you appreciate every stop sign, like, okay, I like that.
Yeah, even the
Oh, okay,
biggest
I
of
like
it this
characters have a
Look at it
human
this way.
emotion to them. Like,
Where you get the Justice League, who are literally even in the comics and TV shows, they would mention how the Justice League were like gods, the original 7,
They're
compared
gods.
to look who we were just talking about before, even WandaVision. We were talking about the X-Men. The
Right.
X-Men is based on racism. Like everybody can understand anything involving racism to the X-Men.
it's more
When you
relatable.
when you talk about Peter Parker, we all know a nerd who didn't get his way. You talk about
Right.
the Hulk. It's just a white man with anger issues. That's half of New York.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's human emotion.
When you're talking about an asshole drunk billionaire, I mean, come on, who's not like that? But they have these character flaws. Every hero that they had a huge flaw and had their breaking point. We're not saying that the DC doesn't have that.
No.
DC is still DC, and they have hardcore fans. I know about Superman. I know about the Justice League, the Titans, the Batman, the Outsiders, Batman Incorporated, Batman Beyond. I know all of that. I know all of that. But is the character development? They give you a villain. They just a villain.
Right.
That's it. You know, the Joker, the Penguin, the Riddler, Bane, all the villains to me they come from Batman.
The best ones, yeah.
Yeah.
The best ones
That's
come
what
from
Batman. That's why there's been so many Batman movies and recreations, because of all of them. It's the best one to
It's
turn
the best
into
story to tell. Right.
Yeah, it's the best story because of the human relatability. That's why they was able to make that Joker movie
Exactly.
where
Penguin,
it's about mental depression and illness, because it's related.
Right.
But other
like,
than
look at
that,
all the characters that you can get from Batman, like the Penguin, Freeze. You can understand why Mr. Freeze. You can understand why he did what he did because of his wife Nora. Penguin, you understand he originally lived a great wealthy life and then he was no longer that anymore. All in all, when it comes to DC, all their characters are godlike. Even Batman, doesn't matter that he's a human, he was still considered up there with the original stuff.
because he has a way to kill all of them. When all else fails, he has a kill switch on every one of them.
Yeah, he would have hesitated to pull the trigger.
Right.
They always
because he knows.
Again, and this is the whole battle with like Marvel DC, but just in general, like, you know, you're gonna have your hardcore Marvel fans, you're gonna have your hardcore DC fans, and again, there's a balance in certain things. But like I said, I do feel that Marvel does make it more relatable. People can relate to it. The characters are from basic neighborhoods. Like, again, Spider-Man's from Sunnyside, Queens. You know, it's one of those things where it's just like, oh shit, like my sister's a huge fan because he's from fucking Queens. You know, actually earlier today, someone was like, oh well, Captain America's from Brooklyn, and I was like, wait, what? And then literally quoted the line. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. So I couldn't like really argue that. So yes, Marvel is gonna have more of those relatable comics and human-like, you know, that you can relate to. But just overall, like I said, it's just one of those things.
Were you in the theater when you heard Captain America say he was from Brooklyn?
Say what?
Were you in the theaters when you heard Captain America say he was from Brooklyn?
I believe so. I
ain't never seen so many Brooklyn cats say "yeah" so loud in my life. Being in the theater, yo, my man just said.
Now that you mentioned that, holy shit, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You know what? 100%. But you know what?
Nobody says Metropolis.
Yeah, right.
Metropolis.
Fucking bitches, like Brooklyn.
Central City, let's go.
All day.
Yo, matter of fact, let me tell you something. They even when they're referencing New York City, you're right. They don't mention Metropolis. They rather mention Gotham City.
Gotham, yeah.
Because Gotham City is gonna be. How is it? Gotham City is always a reference, but not Metropolis. Not Metropolis.
Gotham we took that, became New York. But listen, we can go on and on and on and on. That was just our recap on WandaVision. That was our review. We all enjoyed it. Everybody gave it an awesome rating. But everybody that's watching, comment. What's your thoughts on it? What didn't you like? What did we miss? You know, just a quick review. I didn't want to go into too much detail. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it gets boring after a while. We got a break in between. We're getting, Avengers Disassembled. It was like behind the scenes of WandaVision coming this week.
Yes.
And then next week we got Falcon and Winter Soldier. Then a month after that, we got Black Widow. And so on and so forth. So we also got other movies and things. Coming to America 2. Judas and the Black Messiah. We got other movies, other shows. We're gonna do some reviews. So also comment what you want.
I'm with it. Let's do it.
If anybody want to join the conversation and review some movies with us,
definitely,
by all means. And we'll be back and do it again. I'll holler at you later.